Hey guys, I wanted to tell you about this really cool app that I recently became aware of called My Scrolls. My Scrolls gives you the ability to turn your comics into animated videos that are set to music. Now, what's great here is that you don't have to be an editor or a programmer to make this magic happen. The way that the app works is that you literally just drag and drop your images into the template, and all of the magic happens behind the scenes, and out comes a wonderful video animation that is set to music that you choose for the intro and for the outro. I want to encourage you to check this app out today. There is a great demo that is available to you where you can test out all the features and the functionality. There's a link down in the description. Check it out today and let me know what you think. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, I'm going to show you all some of the cool books that I managed to find in the 100K collection earlier today. And I'm also going to show you some books that I found a few weeks ago that have just been sitting on the shelf waiting for an opportunity to be shown in a video. But earlier today, there were a few alerts that came out from Key Collector app that caught my attention. And I immediately, when I found the time that is, went downstairs and tried to find these books. And it took me a little while to locate the bin that had the books that were in the given title that I was looking for, but I managed to find what I was on the hunt for. The cool thing is that I also managed to find some other books that I didn't quite know were there. We're going to look at all those books in this video, but I want to ask you to do me a favor. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I want to ask you to subscribe now. Go ahead and hit the button, turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss out on any of the content. With that said, let's get to the books. The very first book that I want to show you is Stars and Stripe issue 0. And I've actually found several copies of this in the collection already, but today I managed to find 2 additional copies of this book. There are a couple of first appearances in this one. I honestly don't remember what they are, to be honest with you, but it's just a cool book that whenever I see it in the collection, I pull it out, and I've managed to find a couple of them, and almost all of them have been in pretty solid shape. So 2 additional copies of Stars and Stripe issue 0. Managed to also find a couple of Power Girl comics, and these books are pretty popular with folks. They are a little tough to find in high grade, primarily because a lot of them have these white covers, and at least one of these definitely has some issues. We'll see whether it is possible to clean this one up, but I found issue number 20 of Power Girl, and this was in the back of a bin. It was not bagged and boarded. It definitely was not in a Power Girl bin. It was just randomly placed in a box, but found issue number 20, and I also managed to find probably the more important issue, which is Power Girl issue number 27, and I do believe that this one is the last in the series, and this book is a pretty hot book, no doubt about it. In high grade, this goes for a couple of bucks. I found this is the second copy that I've located in the 100K collection. I want to say I sent a copy off that came back at a 9.6 that I ended up selling on regiecollects.com. This one has 1 or 2 spots that might come clean. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to come back at a 9.6 though. I'll have to take a closer look at it, but a very cool book to have found in the collection. This next one is a book that I've been hunting for, and I had a bin that was labeled in the collection with the title for this book that I went to several weeks ago, probably several months ago when I originally went to go look for it. And I found issue number 2, but not issue number 1. Today, while hunting for another book that I'll show you in just a minute, I found issue 1 of 0. And what makes this book really cool is that Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, recently announced that he was going to make a live action version of this comic. And I've never read this book, but I plan to actually sit down and check it out. I do like 50 Cent. I think that he puts out good music, and I think that some of the things that he's been involved with in terms of TV have turned out pretty well. So fingers crossed that 0 is actually something that actually sees the light of day. This is issue number 1. I'm very pleased to have found this one in the collection. I only managed to find the one copy, again, in a bin that was not the one that had, the 0 written on the actual box. It was randomly in a box. So very cool to have found that one. Two other books that I found, well, technically 2 copies of the same book. I did not know anything about this book. I was not looking for it, but as soon as I pulled it out, I had the feeling that maybe I should look it up in Key Collector app, and I did. And sure enough, I want to say that if I'm remembering this correctly, this is the first appearance of the Ghost Rider from Japan. I think that is correct, who has like a Hellfire Club, if I'm remembering correctly. I was able to find 2 copies of this one in the collection. I have not read any Ghost Rider in a while, but again, it was a cool cover that I spotted and pulled it out, looked it up, and sure enough, it has some significance. I don't think it has a lot of value, but it does have some significance. And I will tell you that some of these books, like maybe those Ghost Rider books, will find their way into the Swoldier supply box, which is something that I put out every single month. It contains comics and also comic supplies, hence the Swoldier supply box. Another book that I found that I pulled out, I've actually found a couple of copies of this already. This is Moon Knight issue 60, and this is the last Moon Knight book in this specific series. I found a couple of copies of this before, but decided to go ahead and pull this one out of the bin that I was looking in today while I was hunting for this next book. Not quite sure, again, why some of these were in the bins that they were in, because I was hunting for a DC book, and I found a couple of Marvel books just randomly in there. So anyway, it is what it is. This is not a title that I have been on the hunt for before. This potentially is the first time that I've ever pulled this title out of a long box, to be honest with you. And I was on the hunt for this because, as I mentioned, an alert came out from Key Collector app that caught my attention about the Black Adam movie. And they were talking about one potential character that could be in this movie is Sabbac. I think that is how you pronounce his name. And I think that they believe that this character is going to be in the Black Adam movie because of a Funko Pop that was released featuring the Sabbac character. And so I went on the hunt for the first appearance of the second Sabbac. I think that is correct. It appeared in Outsiders issue number 8, and I am probably 10 pages or so into this comic. I sat down to read it a little bit earlier today when I had a free moment, and I don't know what to make of it just yet, to be honest with you, but I do believe that this, again, is the first appearance of the second Sabbac. I cannot remember what the first appearance was of the first Sabbac. I'm confident that during the editing process, I will be able to insert that down below so folks can check that out. But I managed to find 3 copies of this book in the collection. So again, just a cool book. Not quite sure, what's going to happen with this Black Adam movie. I know a lot of folks are excited about it. Fingers crossed that it is a good movie and we start to get a little momentum going. Speaking of movies, this one is a little bit of a Suicide Squad type of book. I found 2 copies of this already in the 100K collection. I want to say both of them were a little loved, a little worn, but I found a couple of copies again of the first appearance of Bloodsport. This is issue number 4 of Superman, and again, I found a couple of copies before and found 4 additional copies. These are just a couple of the books that have been sitting on a shelf in the garage for the last probably couple of months, waiting for a video like this to be shown. So a couple of cool Bloodsports. The last 2 books that I'll show you are some Black Adam books, again, that were sitting with the Superman book there. This is Shazam, The New Beginning, issue number 1, and then this one is issue number 2. Just thought that it was a cool cover, so I went ahead and pulled it. I actually found these 2 books when I was hunting for some Black Adam covers back when we were doing the Black Adam cover contest on the Discord server. I was on the hunt for these books. I came up empty by and large for a lot of the really cool Black Adam covers, but I managed to find those two, so I set them aside, and like I said, was waiting for a video to actually be able to show them. I was going to wrap this video up right now by just talking about these books that I found, but here on the desk, I actually have a couple of books that I'll show you. Yeah, we'll have a couple of books that I'll show you. I have not made a true comic book purchase in a while. I have been saving money and I've been spending money on projects related to the channel, but I honestly have not bought a book for the personal collection in quite a while. It's been a while. But I decided to treat myself the other day when I was on Instagram. I saw a book that I wanted. The price was fair, had a little bit of negotiation with the seller, and went ahead and pulled the trigger on the first Silver Age appearance of Two-Face. This is Batman issue number 234. Picked it up in a 6.5 with white pages, and that is definitely not a bad grade or bad page quality for this book from 1971. This book has been on my radar for a while, and I finally decided to go ahead and pull the trigger. It is not a bad looking book at all. I do not know if this book has been cleaned or pressed, but I can tell you from looking at the back cover, there potentially are some spots that could be cleaned. I may actually reach out to the seller to ask the question as to whether that book was actually cleaned or pressed. If not, it could be a candidate. I'll be completely honest. I've bought books before that could benefit from a clean and press, and I still haven't sent them in. So I'm not saying that I'm going to send that one anytime soon, but I do want to ask the question because maybe at some point I will send some books in. So the seller, Clayface, who sold me this book on Instagram, I guess he gives with purchase a stack of mystery comics, and I have no clue what is inside of here, but you can probably hear me noisily opening up this, and I just dropped a card. There's a card here. Pardon me as I reach for that. There's a Deadpool card that he put in there, but he sends along a mystery bundle of comics along with purchase. So what we have in here is Superman issue 388 right there. And I have no clue what's in here. Check that out. It is Magic the Gathering issue number 1 from Boom Studios. And I laughed to myself because I think it was last year I was talking to the folks at Boom about potentially doing a cover for one of their comics, and one of the books that they actually offered me was Magic the Gathering. I ended up not pulling the trigger, of course, so it's funny that I get that book. What do we have in here? Huck issue number 1. I've actually given this book away to someone before. I think I gave away a nice, healthy run of Huck, and now it is back. What is this? Proctor Valley Road from Boom Studios. I've never heard of that title before, but there you go. Little Proctor Valley Road. Huh. There's some bone here. Bone issue number 7 right there. And this book, it's funny as I actually have a stack of Bone books downstairs. I was waiting to do a video when the Netflix series was ultimately released, but if you've been watching the channel, you know that that Bone animation has actually been canceled by Netflix. House of Atreides, Dune issue number 6 right there. I think they announced that a second Dune movie is coming, and I'm actually looking forward to that because the first one I thought was pretty cool. I'm a fan of Dune. Oh, that's a cool book. I think this is that a Fenris? I can't remember who's in this one. This is issue 194 of X-Men. There you go. Cool book right there. I think I have several copies of this in the 100K collection already. Oh, that's cool. This is Eve number 4. I have a couple of copies of issue number 1. Boom had a special once upon a time for issue number 1, like limited to like 200 copies or something like that of issue number 1. I was able to pick up I want to say 2 copies of it. One showed up damaged and one was actually okay, and both copies are sitting off to the side. But I actually enjoyed the story. It was a brief story that I read in issue number 1. I thought it was cool, and I have not read it since, but now we have issue number 4. So cool, some cool stuff coming in from Clayface. So I definitely want to thank him for the bundle and for the awesome transaction for that Silver Age appearance of Two-Face. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, I definitely want to encourage you to go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. And again, if you have not subscribed, I want to ask you to go ahead and do that now. That way you can check out the content that comes out from the channel. And if you need to reach out to me for whatever reason, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.